Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sammy, Sammarie, Samantha Marita-Lot, if you will. And today we're going to be making a 2-month TBR. This is the 2-month TBR video. Normally you'd make a TBR for 1 month, but I think this is for the working girlies, the girlies who are reading and not only just reading for a living. We have other jobs, we have other things, we have families, we have stuff to do. Because I know me, I cannot stick to a 1-month TBR. It doesn't work for me. I will make it. I won't read a singular book on that TBR. I actually am more likely to read less books because I'm so stressed out about the TBR I've made. But also I am so terribly indecisive when it comes to reading that I also waste time staring at my bookshelves trying to decide like what is it that I'm going to read this month. So I think the 2-month TBR is for the working girlies. Let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm 28 years old, psych PA, own a small smoothie bowl business, fur baby mother of 3. What else is there to know? Book collector, hobby enthusiast, avid reader. Okay, I have made some TBR prompts in this jar. The blue ones, these are ones I made today, this morning, like literally 5 minutes ago, but there'll be a little bit of surprise in them because like I don't know which ones I'm gonna pick. And then the yellow ones are from Bessie Girl Gia made these, and so we're gonna use those. I think those will be fun because she doesn't watch TBR prompt jar, so I'm not sure what is going to be on those little sticky notes. So I am going to probably pick like somewhere from 7 to 8 books. This would also be super duper cool because if I read that many books in the next couple of months, I think this girl can still hit her reading goal of 75 books in the year 2026. I'm not totally confident on that. I'm going to start with one of mine. Okay, I'll let everybody else read it first. That was a lie. I literally just read it while I was sitting there. A book you don't think you would have bought without BookTok. I definitely have a lot of like obviously popular books that are popular for BookTok, but what do I think just never would have been on the radar? Now, I don't have my books organized. Like I don't have a TBR cart. I don't have a TBR setting. I just don't think I have enough books to like separate them, but maybe I do have enough books to do that, but I'm just not going to. And then I also have some over there. I'm gonna peruse. I'm perusing, so it's gonna be quiet for a second. Oh, you know what could be fun is Heated Rivalry. Not in a million years would I have picked up a cover that just has like 2 hockey players on it. Red Rising could be another one because in no way, shape, or form would I have ever gone to the science fiction area of a bookstore and picked out a book. And I do have a best friend who's been wanting me to read Red Rising for a little while. Before I was like aware of BookTok, booktube, I definitely was heavy on the romance and heavy on the thrillers with a little bit of literary fiction and classics intertwined. And do you see this indecisiveness? This is why we need to make a TBR. Like I could maybe say an Olivia Blake, but something in my heart and soul just tells me that I would have found her books either way because she's my favorite author. Ooh, A Little Life. I definitely never would have picked up this book. This cover, not in a million years. But do I want to put a sad book on the TBR? So these are our options. None of these have anything to do with one another. So we have a sci-fi series, a hockey romance, and then we have trauma. Do you want to know something crazy? As I'm leaning towards this. I'm not reading A Little Life. Let's be so real. I'm putting this back. I think we're going to do Red Rising. I know. Okay, it says his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love. Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them. So I know in this world there's different like tiers of groups of people, and it's like red, brown, yellow. I'm not exactly sure. This person's obviously, our main character is probably going to be a part of the red group of people. And then this is a part of originally a trilogy. So the next book is Golden Sun, then Morning Star. There are 3 new books, but I think those are kind of like a new age of this book. So I don't know if that means that it was like a continuation that didn't have to happen. I don't know if that means we have totally different characters. Let's choose one of Gia's. Gia Angelina's. Pick a book that you think would smell like cherries. Okay. So cherries. I don't even really like cherries. Cherry is one of my least favorite flavors. It is one of Gia's favorite flavors, like Perolani's cherry slush. But it makes us work. You know how like when you find a roommate or a friend and you can get variety packs because you like the exact opposite things in the variety pack? That's us with an Alani variety pack. Okay, I'm gonna have to be silent for a couple minutes. You know what could possibly be this? if he had been with me, it literally has a lollipop that looks like it's probably, I mean, that's gotta either be cherry flavored or strawberry flavored. And so this is probably what's going to make the most sense. And you know what? I have a few books on my TBR. I would consider our quote OG BookTok books. And so I kind of want to film a video reading them just so I can get through, like, they're the ones that have been on my TBR the longest, just because I don't know, I was really excited when I first discovered the BookTok and BookTube world. I was like in the midst of reading Throne of Glass. So every time I would go to the bookstore, my weekend routine was book shopping and book reading. I would go to the bookstore, buy the new book or the next book in the Throne of Glass series. But for some reason in my mind, it felt like if I'm going to the bookstore, I should at least leave with 2 books in my hand. So every time I buy one of those books, I would also buy a second book. That way I could purchase 2 books at the front desk. I don't know what the psychology behind that was, but we can dig into that another time. So I ended up with a lot of like OG BookTok books. So I think this is perfect. We're following Autumn and Finn. I know something traumatic. I don't know exactly what happens at the beginning of this book. And then we kind of go backwards and then like maybe work through it. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's a love story. I know people cry. That was kind of fun. Should we pick another one of Gia's right now, or should I go back and forth? Let's just pick another one of Gia's. Ooh, pick a book with purple on the cover. Okay, so the whole thing doesn't have to be purple. We could go Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. My Year of Rest and Relaxation has like a little bit, and I kind of want to get into the genre of like weird girl lit. Just something I'm interested in right now, and that fits that genre, but I don't think that's purpley enough. We could do The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, and V.E. Schwab had something to say about that book. So, ooh, Sunrise on the Reaping, but I was originally going to see from a perspective of somebody who's only seen the movies, what would it be like to read this book with only having seen the other movies and not read the other books, but I think I've decided I just want to go back and read the whole Hunger Games series. Okay, let's look behind us now. Okay, from over here, this is our stack here. Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. We have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer and Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. Good Dirt is a literary fiction, and we're following this female main character, and her younger brother, I believe, was murdered. And then we kind of follow her on that journey. She moves to maybe France or like England or something. She moves to France to kind of get away from her past and like separate from that, but she just realizes she really needs to get into her past in order to move on with her future. The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I know this is magical realism. V.E. Schwab said clever, dark, hopeful. Our Perfect Storm certainly has the most. This is like childhood best friends to lovers. Her man left her at the altar, and so she goes on the honeymoon with her bestie. I kind of want to go with this, but this has the least amount of purple. But, you know, except on the back. Okay, it's my video. A book that starts with the first letter of my name, which would be S. Sunrise on the Reaping, but again, I'd have to read the whole Hunger Games. Spellcaster, okay. Oh, I could do A Shadow in the Ember because I feel like you don't count the A. Could do The Sunset Years of Agnes Sharp. It's an old lady who commits the crime. Oh, we could do The Song of Achilles. That would also go with that book. With reading OG BookTok books. So why don't we just do The Song of Achilles? I just know this is Greek mythology. I know it's sad. I know it's an OG BookTok book. I know it's people's favorite read. Wait, this looks cute so far. A book under 300 pages. I put this one in there, and then I put a book over 500 pages because in order for it to be a little bit challenging, because if I put a book under 400 pages, there's so many books on this bookshelf that are in the 300 range, but under 300 there's not too many that I'm even aware of. There's actually only one I can think of off the top of my head. The Full Moon Coffee Shop, which is like a magical realism little coffee shop. This coffee shop has no specific location. It will disappear and reappear, but you can only go there if you're greeted by this cat. I want to say Spellcaster by Jamin Eve is going to be very close. Okay, no. I would love it if this book, The Wishing Game, I will probably read this if this is, yup. What was that? 278. You know who else's could be? Is Annabelle Monaghan. Her books are right about 300. No, that's 316. So our options are going to be these 3. I'll be honest, I'm not reading The Full Moon Coffee Shop right now because I want to save this for an airplane. I can get on a flight, I can open to page 1, and I can have read the whole book front to back on like on one flight, and I love the idea of that. So that leaves us with One Italian Summer and The Wishing Game. I believe One Italian Summer is her mom dies, but then she goes to Italy and like runs into a younger form of her mom, and I just feel like that could get sad. And we have 2 sad books here, and I don't normally read a whole lot of sad books. So I think we'll probably go with The Wishing Game. Does that sound okay with everybody? Pick a book that reminds you of Thor. Thor is my orange cat. He is, don't tell my other animals, but he's probably the most intelligent of my bunch. If he does not like you, he will let you know. Like, I had a bad roommate situation. She was not the kindest in the world, and he was not the kindest in return. So he has boundaries, and he like really sticks to them. I made this TikTok of what type of readers I thought my animals would be. And I said, like, he's very much on the dark academia. He's very much a classics guy. Like, that's the type of books he would be reading. He would take it very seriously. Like, he would be annotating. He would have like a whole dissertation written on a book that he read. So I think like we could go dark academia. So Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This could work. Unfortunately, it does have a snake on the cover, and like Thor's not a snake by any means. Like, he is a ride or die. He's not going behind your back. He's not a snake. That's like period end of story. If somebody's doing me wrong, he will do them wrong back. And that's just the type of guy he is. But for the fact that this is dark academia, like academic, I think the academic books is like where he's gonna fall into. Oh, you know what we could do is we could do Babel by R.F. Kuang. I believe this is dark academia. R.F. Kuang, she takes books and she bases them off of, or takes inspiration from, real life historical events and tries to kind of like have a discussion, like provoke your mind on the topic at hand, like with the Poppy War. I think this is a book that Thor would have read, and therefore this is a book that would make me think of Thor. I think this is gonna have to go on the TBR, which now we really need to get like a fun, silly fun time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what perfect timing to pull this freebie. Make a decision, girl. I'm either gonna go Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune or In Her Own League by Liz Tomforty. No, let's not think about it too long. Let's go Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. I've already talked about it. She's one of my favorite authors. She's the master of cultivating a gorgeous, perfect environment for you to read a book about. She is the queen of summer romance. My favorite book of hers is obviously One Golden Summer, as is probably most people's. My next favorite is This Summer Will Be Different. Read a book with a map inside. So this is going to be a fantasy book, I would think. You know who else actually puts maps inside their books is, I think, Carly Fortune. Yeah, that's funny. She's a map girly. I think Ninth House has a map. Yes, this might be my favorite map. But I would love an easier, breezier time. I wonder if Legendborn, but I don't think I want to start Legendborn until I finish the 5th season. That series by N.K. Jemisin. No. Okay, Legendborn does not have a map. Dance of Thieves might have a map, or Cruel Prince, and that could go with reading OG BookTok books. Yes, this is gorgeous too. I'd be really into it if Cruel Prince had a map. Cruel Prince has a map. I could finish a series by reading Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm does have a map. The Bone Shard Daughter, but again, this is a more intense fantasy series, so I'd really like Onyx Storm's like not gonna do anything to my brain crazy. Neither is Dance of Thieves or Cruel Prince. This one is gonna be like learning a whole entire new world. This is what we have here. Dance of Thieves, The Cruel Prince, and Onyx Storm. Let's see, which one looks nicer on the stack? Everybody vote. I think that one actually looks better on the stack. I didn't think one of them was actually going to look better. Maybe let's just go Cruel Prince. Okay, this is the TBR. Should we go back through her really quickly? I'm gonna flip this. Ooh. This is the 2-month TBR. What if I did something crazy and I read all of these in this month? Red Rising, Pierce Brown, science fiction trilogy that has been turned into this whole massive world. I know he kills off characters by just drawing their names out of a hat, kind of like what we've done today, picking books. Okay, that was for a book I wouldn't have bought without BookTok. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This is a love story. I believe it's sad, emotional, something crazy happens at the beginning and we kind of follow the effects of that. Gia wrote to pick a book that you think would smell like cherries, and this has a lollipop lollipop on the front. And because I had so much fun with Gia's first prompt, I said, let me just pick another Gia prompt real quick. And we went with a book that has the color purple on it. This is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. It doesn't have a whole bunch of purple, but we have a lot of purple on the back, a little bit of purple on the front. This is a literary fiction following generational trauma. It's going to be emotional. It's going to have probably some good commentary, some really good things to say. We're following Ebby Freeman. Her brother is shot. She was there during the crime. She's now moved to France. She's going to try to escape her past, but then she realizes she has to unravel her past, detail it so that way she can move on with her life. This one was a book that starts with the same letter of the first letter in my first name, which is Samantha, so it would be Ness. So I went with The Song of Achilles because I've been wanting to read this. The same friend who wants me to read Red Rising would love to see me read this as well. It's an OG BookTok book, and I want to film a video reading some of the OG BookTok books that I have on my physical TBR. It just worked out. The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This was for a book under 300 pages. I thought we were only going to have one option, but it turned out we had three, and this was one of them. This also came up with picking something with purple on the cover, so I'm glad we were able to get this on there. I know this is magical realism. Years ago, a reclusive mega... Oh my goodness, did I just have a stroke? Years ago, a reclusive, mega best-selling author quit writing under mysterious circumstances. Suddenly, he resurfaces with a brand new book in a one-of-kind competition, offering a prize that will change the winner's life. And we're following Lucy Hart. Okay, the next one was another prompt from Gia, and it was a book that makes you think of Thor. He's an academic at heart, you know. He's a spicy academic. That's what he's giving. He's a little bit judgmental. I think R.F. Kuang fits into a genre that Thor would love to be reading. And so that's what we're going with. This is Babel. I've read The Poppy War, my favorite book that I've read so far this year. So why not read another book by her? I don't really know what the inspiration for Babel is. I don't really know anything about it other than it's by a fantastic author and it's dark academia. This one was a freebie pick, Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. Moments before picking this prompt, I was just talking about I need a fun, fluffy summer romance kind of time, and that's what this is going to be. And then lastly, a book with a map inside of it. So this is basically going to be any of your fantasy novels on your shelves. I went with The Cruel The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I think this will also fit into that video of reading OG BookTok books. So I think we have the 3 books we'll be reading for that. This is a trilogy, young adult. I know there's enemies to lovers. I don't know much else. Perhaps we could read a little bit of the back. Sharpen your blade, harden your heart. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. That is our 2-month TBR. If I read at least 5 of these, I'm definitely going to do this again because this is a great way to get some stuff off of my physical TBR so that way I can read less OG BookTok books and read some newer books that are coming out. I'm probably also going to finish up the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, that series. So that's probably like the 10 books I'm looking at over the next 2 months, and hopefully if I do that, I'm back on track for my reading goal for 2026. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Happy reading.